Hi everyone, welcome to lecture 8. Today we're going to talk about redistribute in the context of backwards for DTensors. So remember in the last lecture we talked about autograd functions and custom autograd functions. In this lecture we're going to see how DTensor uses custom autograd functions to handle this. This code is very similar to the past lectures. The main difference is these 3 lines of code. So basically what we'll do is we will redistribute x 10 times back and forth, shard 0, shard 1, shard 0, shard 1, basically shard by rows and then shard by columns over and over again. And we're doing this to see what happens in the backwards. And if we run this code and we look at the TL parse and we go to the backwards, we'll see something pretty interesting. We will see that each one of these redistribute, shard 0, shard 1, shard 0, shard 1, corresponds to one of these shard dim all to all calls. And basically these are doing collectives to just shuffle from column to row sharding. And you can see here from the shapes that this is exactly what's happening. We're going from T1 to 1, 2 to T1 to 1, 2, 10 times. And if we step through the code, we can see that DTensor redistribute does some stuff, but at the very bottom, it calls this redistribute.apply. And if we look at redistribute.apply, we see that it is the custom torch autograd function we talked about last lecture, where they have defined custom forwards and backwards implementations such that the gradients flow as expected. And we're not going to step through the code today, but we're going to build a little bit of intuition as to like what is actually happening. So in this diagram, I highlight just one of these transitions, right? So imagine that you have a 2x2 tensor that is sharded by rows. And then we do a redistribute. So we want to shard it by columns. This will flow through the rest of the graph, right? And eventually you're going to calculate a loss function. There's going to be back propagation. And gradients are going to flow backwards. And this gradient tensor is going to be the same shape, the same 2x2 shape, but it's going to be sharded by columns. And when we do the gradient update of our initial parameters, it's sharded by rows. And so in some sense, we need to convert this backflowing gradient back to the placement type of our original DTensor. And so this is an intuition as to why in the forwards, whenever you do these redistributes, in the backwards, you need to make sure that there's a corresponding backwards to make sure the gradient placements match. And that's what this custom torch autograd function is doing. So yeah, this kind of gives a basic overview of redistribute backwards. Hopefully you're starting to see the mechanics of DTensor and the magic behind the scenes. In the next few videos, we're going to go more into detail about functional collectives and what this looks like, not just for redistribute, but for other mammal ops. So see you there.